sun dipped low over the dry plains of Copper Ridge, painting the horizon in gold and blood. The air was thick with dust and silence, broken only by the creak of a weathered windmill and the faint echo of hooves on hard dirt. A lone rancher named Samuel Hayes rode across the barren land, his shadow stretching long behind him. He was a man of few words, and many scars, both the kind you see and the kind you carry inside. The town had long since given up on honesty. Secrets ran deeper than the wells that kept it alive. But that evening, as Samuel turned toward the old creek road, he heard it, a faint, trembling voice carried on the wind. "Please, help me." He pulled the reins tight, heart pounding, eyes scanning the horizon. The voice came again, weaker this time. "Please, somebody." He rode hard toward the sound, the dust rising behind him like a ghostly trail. When he reached the old barn near the abandoned mill, he found her, a young woman, tied to a wooden post, her dress torn, her face streaked with dirt and tears. Fear shone in her eyes brighter than the setting sun. Samuel jumped from his horse, cutting the ropes loose. "You're safe now," he said gently. But she flinched at his touch, her whole body trembling. "Who did this to you?" For a long moment she couldn't speak. Then she whispered, "They'll kill me if I talk." Samuel's jaw tightened. "No one should live in that kind of fear," he said quietly. "Tell me who." Tears fell down her face as she shook her head. "Everyone in town knows," she said. "They just pretend not to." The words chilled him more than the evening wind. He helped her onto his horse and rode straight for his ranch. As the stars began to pierce the sky, she finally told him her name, Anna. She had worked as a caretaker at the Hollander estate, the largest ranch in the county, owned by the powerful and feared Sheriff Hollander himself. She had discovered something the sheriff would kill to keep secret. "He's been taking land from widows," she said through trembling lips. "Forging papers. Selling cattle that isn't his. When I found out, I thought the law would protect me. But the law is him." Samuel stared into the darkness, rage and sorrow twisting inside him. He'd seen corruption before. But this was rot that had spread through every corner of Copper Ridge. "You did right by speaking up," he said. "Now it's my turn." But Anna shook her head desperately. "You don't understand. He has men everywhere. No one stands up to him and lives." Samuel looked out at the horizon, his voice calm but filled with fire. "Then it's time someone did." As the night deepened, the wind carried the faint glow of torches from the town. Hollander's men were already looking for her. Samuel knew what was coming, but he didn't run. Instead, he walked out onto his porch, rifle in hand, eyes fixed on the path ahead. Inside, Anna wept softly, whispering prayers into her trembling hands. For the first time in a long time, Samuel felt something stir within him. Purpose. He wasn't just a rancher anymore. He was the line that evil would have to cross to reach her. And as thunder rolled in the distance, he knew the truth would not stay buried much longer, because once a man hears a cry for help and answers it, there's no going back. Morning came with the sound of horses and the echo of boots on dirt. Sheriff Hollander and 6 armed men rode up to Samuel's ranch like wolves circling prey. "Morning, Hayes," Hollander called, a cold grin on his face. "We're looking for a thief. Heard she came this way." Samuel stood on the porch, calm and unmoving. "A thief?" he said slowly. "You mean the woman you tied up and left to die?" Hollander's eyes narrowed. "You best be careful with your words, rancher." Samuel's rifle hung loose in his hand, but his gaze was steady. "Careful's what got this town sick. You've been stealing from folks for years, hiding behind that badge. But that ends today." The sheriff laughed, a deep, mocking sound. "You think anyone's gonna believe you?" "I am the law." Samuel took a step forward. "Not anymore." Behind him, the door creaked open, and Anna stepped out, pale but determined. Her voice shook, but her words carried across the yard. "I saw everything. The forged deeds, the stolen cattle, the threats. You can kill me, but everyone will know." Hollander turned red with fury. "You think these people will listen to a scared girl and a washed-up rancher?" But something changed then. The ranch hands nearby, the farmers, the blacksmith. They had gathered silently behind Samuel's fence. Word had spread overnight. The whole town was watching. Samuel raised his voice. "You all know what he's done. How long are we going to keep pretending this man stands for justice?" Silence fell over the crowd. Hollander's men shifted nervously. For the first time, the sheriff's confidence cracked. "You don't want to do this, Hayes," he warned. Samuel looked him dead in the eye. I already have. The standoff lasted only a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity. Hollander drew his gun, but before he could aim, a single shot rang out. His pistol hit the dirt. Samuel's rifle smoked in his hands. Hollander staggered back, clutching his wounded shoulder, his men frozen in disbelief. "Take him," Samuel said. And for the first time in years, the townsfolk obeyed something other than fear. They seized the sheriff and dragged him toward the jail he had once ruled with terror. Anna fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, not from fear but from relief. Samuel helped her up gently. "You did it," she whispered. "No," he said softly. "We did it. You found your courage, and this town found its voice." Days later, the news spread beyond Copper Ridge. The sheriff was tried, his crimes exposed. Samuel returned to his quiet ranch, and Anna stayed on to teach at the new schoolhouse. The fear that once hung over the town had vanished, replaced by hope and a hard-earned peace. Samuel would often sit by the fence at sunset, watching the horizon glow gold and red, remembering that night. The words she had cried, "Please help me," had changed everything. They reminded him and everyone else that silence is the ally of evil, and truth is the weapon that breaks it. He smiled faintly as the wind rustled the grass. Sometimes, it only takes one brave voice to remind the world that justice still breathes.